Okay, so now that we kind of reviewed how to solve for y, we're going to talk about what do we do if we are given two equations and they ask us to determine what we refer to as a solution. So for example, I have here y equals 4x plus 2 and y equals negative x minus 2. And I am trying to find the solution to this system. It's a system because I have two equations. So if they are already in y equals form, all I have to do is just graph them. So I'm going to graph the first one, y equals 4x plus 2. And then I'm going to go ahead and graph the second equation. So y equals negative x minus 2. And a solution is going to be where do those two graphs intersect. So if you guys notice, that little point is labeled there for you. And if you click it, it's going to stay. So I would say the solution to this system is negative 0.8 comma negative 1.2. Okay. Now, what do I do if I am given something like this? So unfortunately, I cannot graph this in Desmos until it is in y equals. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and solve for y like we just practiced. Okay, so my first equation that I have is negative 4. Let me change my font a little bit. Okay, so I have negative 4x minus 2y is equal to negative 12. So just what we talked about, I'm going to move the 4x to this side. Okay, so I have negative 2y is equal to negative 12 plus 4x. And then I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. And the good news is you don't actually have to simplify right now. Okay, you can if you want to. Okay, but you can essentially just type that into Desmos and it will go ahead and graph it. But I'm going to go ahead and simplify. So I get y equals, always put my x first. So 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2x. Negative 12 divided by negative 2 is a positive 6. But again, remember, you can graph either one of those. Okay, and then my next one is I have 4x plus 8y is equal to negative 24. So same thing. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. Okay, so I get 8y is equal to negative 4x minus 24. Remember, you can't combine those. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And again, okay, I can go ahead and type this into Desmos, okay, for the sake of my systems. But again, if I want to, I can go ahead and simplify. So 4/8 simplifies down to 1/2, and 24 divided by 8 is 3. So these are the two that I'm going to type in, but keep in mind you can type in the unsimplified version and it's going to give you the same thing. So my first one is y equals 2x negative 2x plus 6. Okay, so that's my first one. And again, notice if I type in the simplified version, so negative 12 over 2. Let me make sure I type that in correctly. So negative 12 over, if I could type it, right, over negative 2. And then plus 4 over negative 2x. Again, notice it gives me the same exact line. So it does not matter which way I look at it. I just want to get in the habit of simplifying. So my second one is y equals negative 1/2 x and then minus 3. Okay, so looking at, again, remember my solution is going to be where do these two graphs intersect? So if I click right here, the solution is going to be 6, negative 6. Okay, so remember, if they're already in y equals form, you can just simply graph them and see where they intersect. If they are not in y equals form, we're going to go ahead and solve for y and then graph them and see where they intersect.